Hello everyone, welcome back. Zach here. I know it's called football. A massive victory yesterday. Arsenal beating Chelsea 5-0. Chelsea's biggest ever defeat to Arsenal. A Kai Havertz brace, a Ben White brace, fans dancing in the stadium, the singing, even cheering the Chelsea players, stringing a couple passes together. It was a phenomenal night. I would have loved to be there. The bar I was at was absolutely hopping last night during the game, and what a result for Arsenal. Overall, it just means 4 points ahead of City, obviously 3 points ahead of Liverpool at the moment. As long as Arsenal keep winning, they will stay ahead of Liverpool. There's no chance that Liverpool ever catch up on the goal difference. I say that, I hear it out loud. I have to believe that's the case. Even Man City, I doubt, could catch us on goal difference at this point. However, they do have 2 games in hand where if they win both, they're back on top of the table ahead of Arsenal, and we would see ourselves finishing second once again to Manchester City, which after a whole season of progress and obviously not on top of the table for as long this year, it would be heartbreak again. But losing the league to a team like Manchester City is it's not an accomplishment, but I think the way this Arsenal team is pushing City and even Liverpool to an extent, but mostly pushing City and Pep Guardiola. Look, it's a corrupt, state-owned club. I think there's no shame in losing the league to a team like that. But when we do eventually come over and win the league and knock Manchester City down, I mean, it'll be 6 out of 7 times in the last 7 years that they've won the league. I was listening to Mark Goldbridge talking about this. It's boring. There's no not that there's no excitement. I mean, there's plenty of excitement. Look at last night. That's a great example of excitement. But 6 out of 7. We for years we made fun of La Liga and PSG winning their leagues. Bayern Munich, 11 years in a row, 10 years in a row, whatever it was. I don't want to see the Premier League turn into that. You want excitement, and every once in a while, you get a Leicester, you get a Leverkusen. Lille a couple of years ago won the league in France. So you need stuff like that, and for Arsenal, my hope is that they continue to win. But for Arsenal to win 6 out of 7, it's pretty unrealistic. But that Premier League title is coming under Mikel Arteta. And I think it's only a matter of time. It could be this year. What's going on here? It could be this year. We'll have to wait and see. So look, Odegaard today was absolutely fantastic. This midfield 3 that we've been waiting so long to see. Rice, Odegaard, Thomas Partey in the middle, allowing Declan Rice to move forward. Now he's extremely versatile, Rice. Obviously, if you're watching this, you know that yourself. He's good defensively. He can put in a tackle, fantastic tackle. I mean, he has this weird, unique way of tackling where he just sort of slides on one knee, nicks the ball, and slides right up. Thomas Partey, I think, created like 3 scoring chances in the first 10 minutes yesterday. Martin Odegaard, he is the player that this is what stats don't show you. The way he moves, the way he progresses the ball, luring defenders in. I mean, the amount of balls that he plays that beat 5 players. I mean, I saw it multiple times yesterday, whether it's in the box, the ball to Havertz. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Bruno Fernandes can play that ball. Bruno Guimaraes. A lot of players can make that pass. It's not an Odegaard specific thing, but the way he plays, what he brings to the side, couldn't ask for a better captain for this team. I think a lot of people look at Odegaard, they don't want to rate him or admit he's as good as he is, because a lot of people just still see him as a kid who didn't make it at Real Madrid. Oh, if he didn't make it at Real Madrid at 16, 17, 18, how can he be one of the best midfielders in the world? Well, he is. There's no doubt about it. And even the stats will back that up. But if you watch Odegaard play, he is magic. He really, really is brilliant. I never thought we could do better than Ozil when Ozil was here for those 7-8 years that he was. But you ask me, I would prefer Odegaard at this moment in time than to Ozil in the past couple years. He was at Arsenal. Just fantastic. I think he brings more. He's a little more creative, and I think he's also taken on this role of captain and it's just it's a pride thing. The way he plays on the pitch, it fills you with joy. He just looks like a fan, and he's fighting for this club. Mikel couldn't have got a better captain for this football club moving forward. And again, last night, Odegaard, brilliant game from him. I talked about Rice and Odegaard, that midfield three. Trossard yesterday, again, it's like he knew Anne Hathaway was going to be watching the game. The way he performed yesterday, the goal that he scored. I think goalkeeper for Chelsea could have done a little bit better, obviously, but overall, the runs, the move that he makes, the touches, he's such a clutch player. I said this in the last video. I think I probably used the word clutch more than I ever have in my life, but he was brilliant yesterday. Opens the scoring, fourth minute he scores. That's 2 goals in 2 games now for him. I don't know what his record is over. I think he scored 10 this season. Maybe it's 9. He had 8 for us last season. I think the year before that at Brighton it was only 6. Another player just who continues to get better. When Martinelli has not been himself this year, Trossard has stepped up. I think when he comes on as a sub, he's just as deadly. But to watch Trossard, the confidence he has, the way he's playing at the moment, I think he has to continue to start above Martinelli. I said a couple videos ago, I think that he comes on, the impact he has as a sub, keep Martinelli on the pitch, but I think I would like to rescind that now, looking at the way Trossard is playing. However, whether or not Timber can come back into the side in the last, maybe the last 2 games, maybe the last 3 games, everyone saw that the goal he scored for the under-21s looked great. So maybe Timber is the secret to unlocking Martinelli again. Of course, that role previously, Granit Xhaka, was the player who really was unable to unlock him. The shifting that was going on there, but if you ask me, Trossard starts the next game against Tottenham, but we'll see what Mikel does. I am interested to think the way Chelsea play. They were pressing, they were playing with a high line. We know that Spurs and Postecoglou play in a pretty similar way, so I'm wondering if we'll see any changes at all on Sunday when we go away to Spurs, or if Mikel will play the same exact lineup, and this was maybe sort of a test to see how they get on. And obviously they had a brilliant game, Arsenal. I hope Thomas Partey can stay fit till Sunday. I hope Tomiyasu's doing all right. And having said that, it's another game where you have to look at a referee's decision. Thankfully for us, it didn't affect the game. I mean, I suppose it did affect the game, because if they were down to 10 men, Chelsea, we could have had 2 or 3 more goals. How we didn't have 2 or 3 more goals anyway, I'm not sure. The Martinelli chance at the end of the, forget it. For 5 goals, I'm pretty content with it. But look, the Nicholas Jackson challenge, I don't know how else to say. It is dangerous, it's reckless, it's high, it's late, and he doesn't make any contact with the ball. I genuinely am flabbergasted as to how a player like Tomiyasu, with his injury record, suppose it's not ever been an ankle injury, but how he continued to play for another 60 minutes after that challenge, I have no idea. When I saw the replay, I haven't cringed at a tackle like that in a very, very long time. It's a clear red card, and this is the issue with VAR. Now, I've been defending some statements, kind of going against what a lot of fans have been in favor of with the Nottingham Forest tweet. Now, I'm not against calling out poor calls or poor decisions. Clearly something was not right. The non-calls that they got, the non-penalty calls that Forest didn't get against Everton. But let me not get into it. But the consistency, the fact that the VAR can look at any second of the game any time that they want. When you're watching TV, if you're watching the game on TV, they're seeing the same thing. They see the replays. They can look at anything they want. And the fact that they chose not to review that, or if they did review it, I don't know which is worse, and said it's nothing. No yellow, no talking to, no red card. I think if it was anything less than a red card, I would have been even more upset than I am the fact that they didn't even look at it. I would be saying the same thing if that was an Arsenal player who did that, if that was Saka, if that was Odegaard, Havertz. I would say the same thing, and I would be saying we are very lucky not to be down to 10 men. I said it with the handball that Odegaard had against Liverpool. Not a red card, but I said we're extremely lucky that they weren't given a penalty for that. I am very much non-biased. I just want consistency. Everybody does. We see it every single week. Fortunately for us, it's just not a massive talking point because we ended up winning 5-0 and, we came away with the 3 points. But, I just cannot fathom how VAR haven't looked at that. Or if they have, they decided it was nothing. No red card, no anything. So that is the problem. This is the issue people have with the PGMOL or the FA or the refereeing overall. It's everything, right? It's everything. It's mostly the inconsistency of it all, because we're left scratching our heads over how the hell can you see that and not do anything about it. You're not protecting the players, and that's why you saw Mikel get yellow carded, because there was some silly challenge on whoever it was. I think Ben White got carded, or I don't know who it was that got carded. But you just thought there was nothing in that. And Tommy also got his leg snapped in half by Jackson. Did Jackson mean to do it? I doubt it. He had his eyes on the ball, but it happened. It was reckless. So it's not about whether you meant to do it or not. Everybody knows those rules. So let's move on. I just want to close up here. We're saying Vieira came on for about 5-6 minutes towards the end of the game for Saka. That was great to see him get a rest. Maybe it was more 10 minutes or so. I want to pose this question to everybody else. Not that anyone's watching, but if you are, let me know what you think. Is Mikel training Fabio Vieira to be backup for Saka, to play that right wing role? Because when he came on, he looked pretty sharp. I mean, he is a player who's capable of a pass between the lines. He's got a bit of pace. I suppose he could bulk up a little bit, be a little stronger. He won't be as strong as Saka going into challenges. He's maybe not as great as dribbling past the defender. We know Saka's constantly doubled up, but with Vieira shifting there, I think it would cause the other team to make adjustments themselves. And I think overall, Fabio Vieira, huge potential. We don't see much of him. We haven't seen much of him this season. I know he's been injured towards the beginning part of the season, but do you think that Vieira can be backup for Saka moving forward? Do we need to bring someone in the summer? Obviously, we may need to make multiple signings in order to challenge again next year. Champions League again next year, a sure thing, you have to think at this point in the season. So, pretty long video, guys. I just want to say thank you very much, as always, for watching. If you did make it this far, I do really appreciate it. Let me know your comments down below. Game overall. Should Jackson have been sent off? Your thoughts on Saka, your thoughts on Fabio Vieira, and are we going to see this Thomas Partey, Declan Rice, Martin Odegaard trio of midfielders against Tottenham on Sunday? That's going to be a big one. Maybe season-defining game away to Spurs. Don't forget, we have to go to Man United as well. Thanks very much for watching, guys. See you when I see you.